Hi everyone, this is Charmander, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the factors that affect matchmaking in the game Doomsday Last Survivor. So oftentimes, when alliances register for PvP events, they focus on having as low of a might as possible in hopes to be matched up in a better bracket with less whales. Then they enter the PvP event, and to their shock, there's so many whales in this event, and they start whining and complaining at how can they be matched with so many whales when they registered their team at a lower might. The truth is, might doesn't really matter as much as you think when it comes to matchmaking. Instead, what is important is your alliance's battle ratings. To find out your alliance's battle rating and the battle rating of each players, you need to go to Pompeii, and during the registration period for Pompeii, you can actually see the battle ratings of each of your players. If you add up all the players that you plan on registering for the PvP event, you'll actually get a ballpark area of what bracket you'll end up in. So take a look at Archipelago Raid right now, in which case where I am playing at right now, and you can see that each alliance actually has the battle ratings listed right here. So for example, I'm in the Golden Legion, and as you can see, my alliance's battle ratings is 10.9 billion, and every alliance in this legion has more or less roughly the same amount of battle ratings. And if you look at the opponents, they're also about in the same ballpark as we do. So as you can see, the matchmaking is in fact fair if you look at it from a battle rating standpoint. The only time might is actually important is if you want to move up into a different war zone. So for example, if your alliance plays in Fearless Warzone and you want to play in Elite Warzone, then you do have to increase your might to the cutoff point of the minimum might required in order for your alliance to be able to participate in Elite Warzone. The same goes if your alliance wants to play in Apex Warzone, in which case, yes, you do have to increase your alliance might so that you can make the cut in order for your alliance to enter Apex. And the same goes also if your alliance prefers to play at a lower bracket. So if you're currently playing in Apex Warzone and you want to drop down to Elite Warzone, then your alliance does have to drop their might in order for your team to enter Elite Warzone. And same goes if you want to go from Elite Warzone down to Fearless Warzone, then your alliance does need to reduce their might until you can sufficiently enter Fearless Warzone because you're now below the cutoff point for Elite Warzone. So as you can see, ultimately, your alliance's goal, if you want to fight at a lower bracket, is actually to lower your alliance's battle ratings instead of lowering your might. So you might be asking, what factors affect your battle ratings? So first and foremost, the number of squads that you have affects your battle ratings. So there are a lot of players in this game that are bloated because they have a huge amount of troop count, especially cars, which does add to your battle ratings, but they don't help you fight in PvP events. There are actually players in this game that delete all their cars and use their troops to farm for resources because they want to be able to lower their alliance's overall battle ratings. And by just getting rid of cars, and most people, if you have been training troop type in rider, range, infantry, and cars, then cars essentially takes up 1/4 of your troop count. So by removing cars for any players that has not been actively just focusing on their specific troop type, you essentially can reduce up to 25% of the battle ratings that comes from troops alone. A lot of players in this game are also bloated because they never join rally and garrison, and if a player never joins rally and garrison, that means their troops don't die. And if their troops don't die, guess what? They have a lot of troops left in their shelter. The problem is you have a lot of troops, which boosts up your battle ratings, but making you a selfish player, completely useless to the team as you just made your team's matchmaking even worse, more difficult, and everyone in your team suffers. So that's why it's important to look at the number of deaths each player has, and if they don't have enough deaths, and that's up to you to determine how much deaths is valid. I did have a player before who was T6, who's been playing since this game first came out, and he only had 4 million deaths. So this guy was a huge red flag, not to mention he was also complaining a lot, and he is a negative person. So in which case, we did ask him to leave the alliance because ultimately he was dragging everyone down. My personal rule of thumb is that if you have a player in your alliance that is over 200 million in might and does not have a single set of full superb armaments, and instead this player has armaments that is spread out between multiple squads, up to 5 different squads, and they're all about roughly the same might, then this player is a red flag. This player is bloated. It's gonna help them in field fighting, but ultimately field fighting is not what wins PvP events. Also, having a lot of troops sounds like a good idea, but when you realize that they create huge battle ratings, forcing your team to be in worse matchups with significantly stronger players, then you realize it's actually a bad idea to have such players in your team, because essentially, if your team has a 200 million plus might player with not a single full superb armaments, the other team that you're fighting can also have a 200 million plus player exactly the same as what your team has with the exact same battle ratings, but the other guy has full superb armaments, meaning he can now hold garrison that is difficult to break, or he can rally that can break garrison. Then that team will have a massive advantage over your team. And in conclusion, that player that you have that is the same battle ratings as the other team's battle ratings but is missing key equipment such as full superb armaments is not helping your team win. So on paper, even though they look the same, you do have to look through a magnifying glass and really analyze the player to make sure that they have the proper armaments available in order for them to be beneficial for your team. And also it's very important to be careful on who you recruit into your alliance, as having the wrong player will only worsen your matchmaking instead of optimizing your matchmaking that benefits your team and the chances of your team winning events. Other factors that affect battle ratings are armaments. There's a rumor that removing armaments improves matchmaking, but the fact is it does not. This is because IGG counts the armaments in your bag, not what is equipped as battle ratings. So as a result, removing your armaments lowers your might, but your battle ratings actually does not go down. Removing your armaments is a trick that Alliances uses to drop down from Apex Warzone to Elite Warzone, or to drop down from Elite Warzone down to Fearless Warzone. Other factors that can also affect your battle ratings includes your workshop, your beasts, which includes their chips, equipment, refinement, parts, survivors, and even the number of kills that you have. In my opinion, players with low deaths and high kills are a liability for teams because they just pad their stats in PvP events by getting kills to get war meets war points or equivalent, but that doesn't move the needle in Tower Wars, which ultimately decides on which team will win an event. So as you can see, if you want to have better matchmaking, you have to carefully determine the battle ratings of your players and register the active ones in PvP events, and especially players that are needle movers. If you have a player with a high battle rating but that doesn't contribute in PvP events in meaningful way, then it's best not to register that player in the event. Contributing in a meaningful way includes joining rallying garrison, being a rally or garrison captain with strong armaments, hopefully with at least one full super armament set, or providing field presence during major battle windows. By no means this is an easy feat to pull off, but if your alliance can figure out how to reduce your battle ratings to get rid of bloat, then your matchmaking should improve and your probability of winning an event becomes higher. And to quickly emphasize again, bloat includes having too many troops but weak armaments, as well as having too many cars in your shelter, having equal amounts of armaments spread out between multiple heroes instead of hyper focusing on one hero. And the only exception to this rule is if you're a whale that is powering up multiple heroes' armaments at the same time to max them out and get full superb armaments for each of them, in which case that is okay. But if you're not a whale, please don't do this. Once you understand this concept, hopefully your team's matchmaking will improve. I do want to say that whales exist in all brackets and Gs, so you can't really escape whales. It's better to actually have a resident whale in your team or several players that is hyper focused on one hero with really strong armaments, allowing your team to withstand attacks from whales. Anyways, that's about it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.